guys. The What Are We
Ladies
Doing
and gentlemen,
podcast.
welcome back to another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. My name's Levi McCurdy, and this is episode 105. Thank you guys for rocking with me for 105 weeks. Glad to be back. I'm a little tired, I'll be honest with you. A little exhausted. Okay. Last night was a doozy. We're going to get into last night here in a minute, but first we're going to talk about this past weekend. We took the boy to Lake Tibias. And for those of you who don't know, Lake Tibias is it's kind of like a zoo / interactive outdoor. They have I think one indoor thing maybe, but it's mainly all outdoor, kind of walk around at your own pace, kind of zoo / quote unquote, what they call it, safari experience. It resides in the middle of Halifax, PA, a town that has that, Lake Tibias. I think they have like a rubber company there, and I think there might be like one other, I think there's a Subway. So with those three businesses, they're single-handedly keeping all of the people of Halifax, Pennsylvania employed, and there's not much else there to do. So once you go up and down the mountain, if you survive, okay, 9 times out of 10, you typically can survive the drive up and down the mountain into Halifax. But sometimes, like on our way back, you don't survive, okay? We survived, but the people that were on the other side of the street with the cops and all the flashing lights, they got into an accident because they don't know how to drive up and down mountains. So once you're done crossing, climbing, and going down the freaking mountain as if you're like, Gandalf and Frodo trying to get the ring to Mordor, you enter Halifax. And of course, there's a McDonald's, there's a Subway, there's a Verizon. I think they have a Verizon wireless and a few diners and a few ice cream places. And that's kind of it. There is a grocery store, I think, and Lake Tibias. So we went to Lake Tibias. And I mean, let's be honest, Lake Tibias, we could easily step it up a bit. Okay. Not a terrible price to get in. All right. That's where one area where I'll give them props on. They did not, what I felt like robbed us. I think it was maybe like $17 each. I think it was $17 for me, Megs, and the boy. And so, ended up like what, $50 or something. Yes, it wasn't crazy. Sandy was trying to get us to go to a zoo in like Baltimore, Maryland or something that was like $50 a purse, not like for the whole family. So fair prices there. But it's fun. Listen, they remodeled it. It's new. There's new stuff that there wasn't before when we were kids. But the bears, only ones doing stuff. The black bears that we saw as soon as we walked in were the only ones doing stuff. John got like an emu ostrich thing to poke some food out of his hand. That was kind of cool. But other than that, the bears were the only animals, like they were rolling around. The one was like digging a hole. Ollie thought it was real cool to watch the bear dig a hole. But, honestly, Ollie really just wanted to go play in the bear's water pool. Ollie was okay. He didn't really listen. He didn't like it. He was scared of all the animals. The fish were like his biggest hit. As soon as we got there were like some koi fish in like the water surrounding the bear's enclosure. And we stood there and watched the fish swim around for a few minutes because it looked like Nemo. And so we kind of liked the bear. We watched the bear dig a hole. And then, but every other animal was either sleeping or not doing anything. And I mean, I guess this is just the anatomy, the epitome of zoos now, right? The animals have realized it's been 20 to 30 years. They're not getting back into the wild. They're stuck in these cages. They know the food schedule. It's annoying. Here's me and my family. My son's over here screaming, throwing rocks at the animals. You know what I mean? So they're miserable. And so all they want to do is sleep. Now, I don't know what Lake Tibias and other zoos need to do to step it up. Maybe, I don't know, get a shock collar. Can we put a shock collar on the hyena that's sleeping. So like when I'm at the exhibit, I can just press a button on my phone, boosh, shock, wake it up, run around a little bit, do some, I don't know. Like what, like they have food, like you can give them like dog food for 25 cents or whatever, but like, you know, that's like, you know, they don't eat it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We only saw one capybara in the distance and no other ones. We're kind of just in like this mode now where we're kind of tired of paying entry fees to not see animals do shit. You know what I mean? Like you go to Zoo of America at Hershey, and it's like, where's all the wolves? There's a couple out, they're sleeping, they're sunbathing, they're not doing much. There's a wolf. You know what I can do for free at home? Look at a picture of a wolf. Not take one myself. Like you're paying to take photos of a wolf sleeping. I mean, if that's exciting to you, that's cool. But, you know, so listen. So then, of course, we had to do the safari tour. Everyone who goes to Lake Tibias has to do the safari tour. We did the safari tour. When I was a kid, you would be eating your chicken fingers under the little hut. They had one restaurant, and then the safari tour bus would pull up. And you could get on it. You could not get on it. It didn't matter. It was free, like I'm pretty sure. And then you just get on it, and then boom, you're on the safari tour. Now, in 2023, the safari tour at Lake Tibias is Hershey Park. There's a line. There's multiple gated rows. Like we literally went through like we stood in line. We stood in line for like an hour. Like we were in line for the safari tour for probably like 30 to 40 minutes. Like it was a solid like roller coaster wait. I mean, now props to them. They had like, you know, 4 or 5 buses rolling at the time. So, I mean, the line moves semi quickly, but I mean, still 45 minutes from when, you know, back in my day, we just kind of hopped on with our chicken fingers and we were on the safari tour. Now there's a line. Now there's like a concession stand in line. Like it's a whole attraction now. And so, but that kind of is the same though. It's just a half cut off bus. And then you go around and, you know, you see some animals. First up was this big dick donkey, literally. Like the first animal there to greet us was this, I think South African donkey. So it's a bigger than a normal donkey, like just in overall size. It's kind of the size of a horse, maybe a little smaller than a horse. But like, I mean, he had that thing swinging at least an 18 to 20 inch hog on that guy, just swinging in front of the whole bus of families. And so that was fun. So we got to see that first up on the tour. And then, you know, there were a few llamas. You see them on the way out. But 80% of the tour is all deer. And so, unfortunately, these types of deers, I think they were like the cousins to the whitetails, maybe. They were a few different types of deers. But most of the deers, when we went, it's the season of rutting. And if you don't know what that is, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. What's it called? Let me double check, because if I get it wrong, you'll roast me in the comments. What's it called when deers lose? I mean, shedding, right? Sheds. The dropped antlers are called sheds, and the process does not hurt the buck from spring through summer. The antlers grow back. Oh, it's just called shedding. Okay, it's just called shedding. So the bucks are shedding their antlers, right? And unfortunately, our tour was in the middle of it. We were in the middle of shed season, and like half the deer, half the bucks' antlers, like were just like had like dangly, like meat fleshy looking dangles of like bloody, like ruddy, like antler chunks of meat that they haven't lost yet. And it like just was like hanging off their antlers, kind of gross, but like some of the deer were cute, you know what I mean? And then everybody got excited. Everybody got excited once we went around the turn and we could see him up on the hill, so we knew it was coming. Everybody got excited for the elk. Everybody wanted to see the elk because the elks are, these magnificent creatures that we don't get to see anymore. And so when everyone got to the elk station, like John was standing up, you know what I mean, feeding them. The one elk was directly at our seat, like in my son's face with his snobby mouth and its teeth that are made of ivory, which I didn't know. Learn that on the tour. Educational, okay? And, so like we were feeding the elk and like that was kind of cool. Like I kind of wanted them to be like, fighting with each other because I heard that's a fun scene to watch, but that didn't happen. And then of course we end up with the llamas. So the safari tour, you get to see some donkeys, some llamas, some deer. You get to see some elk. You get to see some bison. There were some bison that they then, inevitably turn into the bison burgers that you get at the concession stand. I didn't get one. Sandy did. I took a bite of it. It was gross. It tasted worse than a cafeteria cheeseburger. It kind of tasted like a frozen patty from Walmart. It wasn't a good burger. If you go there, just don't get the bison burger. Just don't do it. Here's the issue. And then also on the safari tour, we passed two other like animal exhibits. One was the giraffe. They just got a giraffe. That was kind of cool. We didn't unfortunately get to see him feeding on anything. Like they have like 3 times during the day they feed the giraffe. We didn't get to see it. But we did see the giraffe as we drove by. He was just laying down sleeping, like most of the other animals. The best freaking part about the safari tour is that we got to drive by their all new lion exhibit. And this lion exhibit sits right on the cusp, right on kind of the entrance / a little further into the entrance of the safari tour. And now in this exhibit, there is one big Mufasa Lion King looking lion. And I think like 2 other maybe like female lions are in there with him. And so this lion has to literally sit on a rock in his exhibit, in his cage, on a rock, overlooking the entire safari tour, full of deer, bison, cattle, a bunch of steaky, juicy, delicious things that he should be munching on. He should be out there on that 150-acre plot of land, making his next move, trying to hunt a deer for dinner. Or at least, I think, from my understanding, it's like the female's job to hunt the food. It's fine. But like, they have to sit there as these bitch-ass lions in a zoo and eat this, what is probably raw chunks of meat from wherever they get their meat supply from, in a bucket on a daily basis that some intern 17-year-old jackass kid drops off, when they've got to then sit there for the rest of the day while there's a juicy, delicious 10-point buck just staring him down only a few yards away, just taunting him, shaking his antlers at him, shaking his little booty tail at him, because the lion can't do anything about it. Meanwhile, there's a giraffe right beside the lion. I'm sure the lion would love nothing more than to eat that giraffe as well. Like, it was probably one of the best / worst decisions that they probably could have made at the Lake Tibias Zoo. Like, how upsetting, how depressed do you think that lion is just seeing a fucking full-grown buffalo bison, meaty as hell, lunch, breakfast, and dinner all day, every day, just walk past him? So, what's up, Larry? How you doing? Good. They just fed me out of the bucket again today. Yeah, day 394, you're not getting this ass, is it, Larry? You know what I mean? Like, they probably just taunt each other. Like, something tells me It's not a Penguins of Madagascar, like, movie, DreamWorks. It might be their second only best movie that they've ever made from that studio type of situation. Like, you know what I mean? With the zebra and the Marty and the Chris Rock, the whole movie thing. Like, I don't think it's like that at the Lake Tibias Zoo. So, you know what I mean? I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy, but Ollie was okay with it. I mean, we'll try again next year probably. I mean, he didn't have the greatest of times, but it was fun. It was fun. It was good to see their upgrades. Honestly, the best thing that he liked there was the playground. He went down, he spent like 30 to 40 minutes on the playground just going down the slide. It's unfortunate. But listen, he's autistic. What are you going to do? Who cares? It's fine. Well, we had fun. You know what I mean? We had a good time. So last night was Stage Fright Live. Stage Fright Live, night 1. If you don't know what Stage Fright Live is, it's a 3-night, well, now we're down to 2 nights, but it's a 3-night Battle of the Band competition hosted by Tone Tailors and Mickey's Blackbox, located at Rock Lidditz out in Lancaster, or Lidditz, PA, however you want to define it. So we had 4 bands for night 1. They battled it out. You know what I'm trying to say? I might be autistic too. They battled it out last night. Okay. We had Blair Mill. We had Before the End. We had Wake Up John. And we had Animal Ion. Okay. So like those 3 bands, or those 4 bands, I apologize. Those 4 bands, go check them out. All right. They're pretty great. They're all, I think, on Spotify. They're definitely all on YouTube. Just search the names. I might have some videos. I might have some stuff on the screen for you. But like it was a fun night. And so of course I was the host. I was supposed to be co-hosting with Glenn, who unfortunately couldn't make it. So it was up to me to carry the entire show. And of course I did. I was super nervous. The intro to the show was supposed to be like 10 minutes. I think I did 5. I'm working on it for next time. But like, I thought I did okay. Everyone there said I did great. Whether they were just making me feel good is besides the point, but everyone there said I did okay. So it was a fun time. I hosted, I made some jokes. Sandy was supposed to be there. Sandy and John were definitely supposed to be there. They were on the list. They had free tickets. They had VIP backstage passes. They had meet and greets with all the bands set up. Thanks to me, of course, but they didn't show up. And so Sandy claimed it was her dementia. So Sandy now thinks, I think at the prime age of what, like 55, 56, 57. How old Sandy? I don't know. Something like that. Is somewhere in that range. She thinks she's getting dementia. And so to combat the dementia, she literally just texted me this. I'm not making this up. To combat the dementia, this is the most boomer fucking thing I've ever heard. I swear to God. To combat the dementia, and this is a goddamn quote, Sandy's going to stop using deodorant and start taking supplements. My mother just sent me a text message. Fuck it, I'll put it on the screen. Sandy just sent me this text message that says she's going to stop using deodorant and start taking supplements to combat her early stages of onset dementia. So, you know what I mean? Like, Dove and Nature Made gummies are going to save my mother from her fake dementia diagnosis. So we've called Bethany Village. We've got a meeting with them next week. We're looking into some hospice, some retirement home options for Sandy. So because, if her dementia persists, she's not going to be able to work at the hospital anymore. She's not going to be able to pretty much do any of her daily activities or function as a human being. So we're looking into some alternate living situations and, we'll see. So we're going to start her on the no deodorant. We're going to look into Ollie gummies. The Ollie gummies are really good. If they have one that says, sleep, energy, stress, dementia, maybe the brain. I think they have a brain one for the Ollie gummies. Let's try to get an Ollie gummy sponsorship. So maybe we can just get some brain gummies for free for Sandy. And so if the lack of deodorant And the addition of gummies into her diet does not help with Sandy's dementia. We'll probably, you know what I mean? We'll probably get her some professional help. So that's, stay tuned, stay up to date. I'll update you on that as soon as, she figures out what's actually going on with herself versus the fake diagnosis that she just gave via text message. So she was supposed to be there at the show last night, and I honestly didn't know if she was there. I didn't know if I texted all my friends, I texted all my family members, I texted her, I texted my sister, I texted my 6 other friends. I said, hey, you should come to this event. It's free. Just use my name at the door. You get in free. And no one came, and it's fine. I had my other friends, Paul and Brittany, there because they kind of had to be there, so it's fine. They were there, and they supported me the whole night, but none of my family or friends came, so no big deal. So in order to find out if they did come, I pretty much made it a bit. I went on stage with the microphone and I said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stage Fright. My mom was supposed to be here tonight. And I'm not sure if she is. Mom, are you here? Please make some noise. And it was crickets. And I said, okay, great. Sandy's not here. And I turned to Paul, who was backstage, and I said, how freaking embarrassing, dude. How embarrassing. The only person who I knew to be in the audience tonight was my own mother, and she wasn't even there, thanks to her early onset dementia. So I turned it into a bit, and by the time I was done wrapping it up, I said, well, you know whose mothers are here tonight? The mothers of our next band. Give it up for Before the End. And then that's how I introduced the next band. It was great because guess what? Their mothers were there. They cheered. I'm the shit. I'm a good host. I know what I'm doing. So we had Before the End. We had Blair Mills Band. We had Wake Up John. We had Animal Ion. And they all smashed it. Blair Mill pulled out a freaking harmonica. Before the End, a switcheroo. Their drummer became their singer. Their guitarist became their drummer. Part of the reason probably why they won. Spoiler alert. Before the End did end up winning. They're going on to the final night to battle the winner of the second round of Stage Fright Live. So, Wake Up John killed it. Animal Ion smashed the show. That guy with the hair and the tank top and the muscles. I had to channel my inner lead singer of Animal Ion, and so I did a costume change halfway through the show. I was wearing the button up with the collar and the sleeves that look good, professional, you know what I mean? Look good. But then halfway through, because of Animal Ion, I switched into the tank top to channel my inner rock star. So it was great, and we had an awesome time, man. The bands killed it. And in the end, the audience voted for Before the End. And I cannot disagree with that decision. It's who I probably would have voted for. They killed it. The lead singers and the drummer who was singing had the energy. She was killing it even on the drums. She was singing. It is clear that they know what they were doing. Listen, they were a younger band. They were a band with they were mostly younger, but they had it. They had the energy. They had the skill set. They had what it took. And I'm not saying the other bands didn't. Because they killed it. Blair Mill did a Fast Car cover that blew Luke Combs out of the water. Just saying. Don't hate me. Just saying. So you know what I mean? It was a killer night. Everyone was complimenting me on my hosting skills. We had JP and Brittany and Paul backstage with me periodically. Everyone was kind of moving in and out. It was great. I had a blast. So if you missed it, if you could not make it to Stage Fright Live night 1, fear not, because night 2 is about to be probably even better. When is that second night, by the way? Let's figure that out right now. The second night of Stage Fright Live you are not going to want to miss is September 28th. mark your calendars. We've got about a month. We've got about a month and a few days to get ready, but September 28th is going to be the second night of Stage Fright Live. Tickets should be on sale for that soon. But please, by all means, I mean, let's rock. We're going to announce the next 4 bands for night 2 very, very soon. I don't know if they've been chosen yet. If they have been chosen, we'll be making that announcement soon or making that decision very, very shortly. But be on the lookout. If you can make it September 28th, Mickey's Blackbox, Rock Lidditz, Pennsylvania, presented by Tone Tailors, sponsored by Pixel and Hammer, DPA Microphones, Here Recording Studio, Springhouse Brewery, Gator Cases, many, 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 many more. Many more to come. The second night of Stage Fright Live is happening September 28th. Please check it out. And then, of course, our finale in October. If you want to mark your calendars for October 12th, we're going to probably be doing a costume contest. So if anyone wants to sign up for that, details are coming soon, probably very soon. September 28th, October 12th, the back end of Stage Fright Live. It was a killer night, and I can't thank everyone enough who came out. The bands, the family members of the bands, the friends, the supporters, everyone at Mickey's Blackbox, the staff there working with them was amazing. Just anything and everything that went right, went right. So it was an amazing night. We had a blast. I think we had, one technical difficulty. I think like the bass amp had like a weird wire. A few of the bands had a problem, but we fixed it in the midst of the show. It did not affect them whatsoever. They all killed it. So stagefrightlive.com for all the details for show 2, all the bands. Check out the Instagram that has band pictures, bios. It's going to have photos and videos from the show because all of us were taking so much. We're going to dump all that content, get it edited and up on the socials here soon. So man, and if you're a business and you want to sponsor the second or third night of Stage Fright Live, by all means, I think we still have some sponsor slots available. And of course, next year, inevitably, when we do this again, by all means, we'll be looking for new sponsor slots as well. So if you want your business to be heard and get your name out there, or just help support the local music scene, by all means, we'll figure something out and how to work together. So stagefrightlive.com, check it out. For this next bit, it is a recorded conversation of me and Paul. Of course, you haven't had a phone call from Paul on this podcast in a while, and my lunch is ready. So I got to go get that. So please enjoy this clip, this recorded call from my friend Paul from the High Cheese Podcast. If you have not checked out the High Cheese Podcast and you're a baseball fan, check that out. High Cheese Podcast. Just Google it. You'll find the website. You'll find Spotify. You'll find Apple. You'll find everything they need. High Cheese Podcast for everything sports and specifically baseball. You're gonna want to listen. So here's a quick conversation between me and my buddy Paul. We're talking about the school system, politics, of course, and a few other random fun things. And I think we might even preview a future episode of this podcast that we might be dropping in regards to Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. So enjoy the clip, and thanks for listening.
Yep.
Dude, thanks to Sandy Dunkel, I literally exclusively shopped at Kohl's for clothes for like the first 25 years of my life. It's been very recent that I've stopped going to Kohl's. It's kind of insane. I hate it. It's such a terrible store. Do you shop there?
I can't go to Kohl's because Kohl's stresses me out, and I can't quite put a finger on why.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. And it's the reason I had to stop going, because once I realized it, it like blew my brain apart. So Kohl's like number one thing is everything's always on sale. Everything's cheap. You get Kohl's cash no matter what you buy. You know what I mean? You buy like $100 worth of stuff, you get Kohl's cash. You come back, your next trip, it's like half free because you got Kohl's cash. That's how they get you in. But the problem is they're like 70% off sale is 70% off of the price that they marked up 70% before it was on sale. So like their 70% off all, men's clothing sale is great. But like 70% off of this t-shirt is still going to be a $15 t-shirt. So It like
Yes.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
they reel you in with this like, mentality of, oh, I'm not spending a lot of money. Look at these shirts. They're 2 for 15. This one's on sale for 70. The tag says $3. Well, that's because the shirt's worth $3. You know what I mean? It's not like there's no value there. And it's just it's a very boomer situation. They get people like Sandy Dunkel, who has the Kohl's charge card. Every time she uses it, she saves an additional 30%. She's got the coupons on the app. She's got the reward programs. She's got the Kohl's cash every time she goes. So I mean, if you're like my mom and like you have all that shit and like it makes sense, then maybe. But for like you and I and Brittany and the average person going in like clothes shopping,
it's
no
not. Yeah, it
fucking
doesn't.
way,
It's not
dude.
worth it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very
Yeah.
deceptive. Sometimes we'll go in and look around, and you might be able to find, you can catch a deal, but you can catch a deal at Hollister. Sometimes you can go into Hollister and get a T-shirt for $5 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like sometimes places have deals that make sense, and that's when we go to Kohl's and get stuff. But like the whole thing, like on a random Tuesday, oh, it's our 70% off sale. Come in now, Tuesday doorbusters. Like they use the word doorbusters in all of their advertisements. So they make it seem like Black Friday. Oh, it's Black Friday every week at Kohl's. It's our daily Tuesday doorbusters. Get in quick. And then people are like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this sale's going away. I got to get this blender that's $350 on sale for $300, but normally it's $600. Like, okay, but you're still
Yep.
spending $300 on a blender that you could get from Walmart that does the same thing for half the price. Like, just don't. It's very fun. It's very fun to watch.
Also, a picture of Post Malone that I saw. Hold on. For an app.
Dude, did you see? Speaking of naps, that's funny.
He's holding the Witch King of Agmar's mask. Badass.
Oh, Post Malone. Oh, yeah. I think that might be. Is this older?
It looks older, but
It's
it's
a
cool as
little.
shit.
It's a little older. Yeah, but yeah. I saw that a few weeks back.
He's holding the Witch King's helmet. That looks
Yeah,
cool.
that's so sick. He's a fan. He's a Lord of the Rings fan. You don't spend
Are
$2.6 million for no reason.
are there people that aren't Lord of the Rings fans that have watched? I don't know if there are. It's cool. Lord of the Rings is cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Megs doesn't
I don't know many
necessarily.
people who are like, "Oh, I hate Lord of the Rings." You know?
Yeah, yeah. Megs, I think, would probably be like
Really? Has she watched them now?
Jesus Christ, no, I don't think so.
Okay, so
Nor
that's
do
my
I.
thing. It's like if you haven't watched it, that's fine. You're not a fan, but you don't have to
Okay,
like. It's not like she hates it.
okay, good. Okay, so the words,
I think if
the
you watch
descriptors
Lord of
really
the
do matter.
Rings,
Okay, let me find out where
you're gonna
she's
be a
at.
fan of it.
Okay, I'll ask her
You
where
might be the
she's at
first.
now, and then if she wants to watch them, I'll try to use Post Malone and you as a convincer. So that'll be like two different.
I mean, you don't even need like IMDb. That like all three of those movies are in the all-time
Yeah.
top 20 of IMDb right now. Still to this day,
Right.
years later,
Right. Right.
like they're the best movies ever,
Right. Yeah. Oh,
and
I
and
get
they
it.
hold up. I'll say this: they hold up.
Yeah.
It's like those are from when we were like teenagers,
Yeah.
and I've rewatched. I haven't rewatched all of them for like a while. Um, but like the third one
Uh huh.
still to this day holds up over because I remember when I was watching Game of Thrones during COVID, I looked this up. So the third one still has the most actual physical actors in a battle scene ever
Right. Right.
in the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
huge battle in the fields of Numenor outside of Gondor.
I'm
Uh,
so upset. You
and
know the names. You know the
yeah, well,
names,
it's a
dude.
cool fight.
If you said,
Uh,
"Hey, where does that battle take place?" of the Lord of the Rings, I would have said like, I don't
it's
know, Helm's Deep, Aragon's Castle. Like
well,
those are the only two.
Helm's Deep is the cool one too.
Yes. No,
That's a very cool one.
I'm more of a I think I'm more of a fan of number 2. I think I like
The
number
Two
2.
Towers.
Yeah.
I have said this in many times. Two Towers is my favorite one.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
Towers is sick.
Yep.
And the Battle of Helm's Deep when Gandalf rides over the hill and
Oh.
like they realize they're not fucked and he comes
Yeah.
with all the Rohirrim that were
Yep.
like cast out. Oh, badass,
Yep.
badass. And yeah, that one rules. That one's just incredible. But yeah, I've watched like in college. My roommate Luke, who is a very weird guy, and I haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah.
He and I would just put on Lord of the Rings while we were doing homework. Like it was just on in the background,
That's sick.
like all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was just like our move. We get home from class, we'd have stuff to do. Like I'd be working on a project, he'd be working on a project, and we would just throw Lord of the Rings on in the background. So there was a point in time where like I think I've watched like all three movies. Oh, and we always watch the extended version ones. Clearly, that's like the only way to do it. Uh,
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
yeah,
I'm
and I still have the box set that it's 2 discs per movie.
Oh wow, like the original OG releases
Yes,
because they couldn't
yes,
fit the entire film on one regular DVD disc because it
yep.
was only 4
It's
gigs or whatever.
huge,
Right.
huge.
Oh, that's
Um,
crazy.
we had this badass. We got this like 70-inch TV
Yeah.
that had a Bose speaker system in the base of it. We got
Nice.
it on Craigslist for like $100 our sophomore year of college, and moved it into our apartment. And we had a PlayStation 3, an Xbox 360, and what else do we have? Oh, an N64. We because Luke's like he's actually a shop teacher
Yeah.
now. Like,
Yeah.
like that's what his job is, and he was going to school for it. So he built this like custom shelf that held all of our consoles, like right next to where we had the TV set up in our apartment.
Yeah.
And then right above that, we had our DVD shelf for all of our DVDs. So you could just pop them into the Xbox or the PlayStation if it was a Blu-ray, and just like watch stuff on this like huge TV that had this Bose system. It was like the best college apartment setup ever. And it was like a first generation like 1080p flat screen.
Right.
It
Right.
was like,
Right.
but it was such a cool TV to have in a college apartment, and we played so many video games on that TV.
Yeah,
There
well
were so many
that
times where we would skip class because we'd be in the middle of like, oh, we're playing through a game, and like, oh man, I'm just gonna skip class. We're gonna keep playing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny. It's like all through like high school and college, they always were like, "Oh, you can't skip class. You can't skip class." But it's like, every other week it's just like the teacher asking you how your project's coming and what you need to do for it. And 9 times out of 10 it required you to leave the classroom anyways. So like, yeah, let's just skip
Well, you and
class
I
and
were both also like, I was a communications broadcasting, which meant
right.
most of my projects were like recording audio or video.
Yup. Yup.
And what I would do is, because I'd been into that stuff since middle school, is usually most people had to like book the lab and
Yep.
book the communication studio to
Yep.
do stuff. I just went to my apartment and I set up a bunch of microphones and would record everything I needed to do in like
Oh yeah.
10 minutes before class.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
I, I had my attic in this very same apartment. We had a very weird apartment where we had the attic was a door through our bathroom, but the attic was a full footprint of the house above our like bedroom that we slept in.
Okay, yeah.
So Luke and I built out the attic to be a little studio.
Perfect.
So he had this like cool little Catalina Club drum kit up there because he
Right.
was a drummer in my band in high school too, and we went to college together. So he had his drum kit up there. I had one of my Fender amps up there. We had like a Yamaha, like an old school analog console with like all the
Yeah.
mixers and faders set up.
Yeah.
And we just had mics set up all the time up there. And so I would carry my like 2009 MacBook, like the white plastic one.
Yeah.
I would just like carry it up the stairs and set it down on this little like desk we built, and just like plug it into the USB interface we had at the time.
Yep.
And like we could just track songs up there.
Yep.
Like I still have some really cool demos we made in the attic of our college apartment because we lived there. I got that place the second semester sophomore year. It was like right off campus, and Luke was a grade younger than me, so
Okay.
like he moved in. He moved in my junior year because I lived there with my friend Matt the year before, and we kept that place like in the like quote unquote family until Luke graduated, and then Luke passed it on to his friend Mason. So like we still had that apartment as like something we could hang out at for like 7 straight years of college. It was like I graduated, Luke graduated, Mason was there still. So like we just kept the apartment because we did so much stuff to like retrofit it because the landlord also didn't care. He paid us one summer to redo the floors.
Right. Okay.
Like so we just did stuff to our apartment, and like he would just like take stuff off our rent if he's like, "Oh, you improved the place. I'll take a couple bucks off the rent this month." He
That's
was cool.
hilarious.
He was like
That's
a 6'5"
hilarious.
guy who name was Don, and he owned like 20 properties in Millersville. He rented to students. But he would like hang out. One time we took our rent check to his place because he lived in Millersville,
Yeah.
and he knew we were like big baseball nerds. So he's like, last time I was at your place, I saw you guys had a lot of like Yankees and Red Sox memorabilia. You guys want to see my collection? And we were like, yeah, sure. He had a baseball card collection, dude. He probably had $3 million worth of baseball cards in the basement of his house. He had
Jesus.
a sealed room for them that he like showed us, and he like let us like check it all out. He was the
Should
coolest landlord I've ever
should have
had.
knocked him the
Coolest dude.
fuck out and stole that shit.
Well, he was great, so I wanted to hang out with him.
True, true.
But
Yeah, 7 years later, I
but
guess.
yeah, yeah, I skipped class all the time though, for the reason of I had a studio in my apartment in college because I was good at audio stuff and my roommate was a carpenter, so we built like it was sound treated. Like Luke built like baffling and stuff in the
Yeah.
attic.
Dude,
So it was like,
we could have done that. Yeah, we did the same shit. I mean, like Ron Ross was like one of the media teachers at our college, and like everyone knew that to get through your entire college career, you had to have Ron at least for like one or two or at least 3 or 4 classes, and all you had to do was show up. You just had to show up and you had to breathe. Like the one project, we were supposed to do like a Foley thing. We were supposed to take a clip, like a 3-minute clip from a movie, and then we were supposed to mute it and then re-add in all the sounds, right? So like do a voiceover and add music, and if someone's walking, add like the crunching
yeah,
sound or whatever, you know?
yep.
And like half the idiots in
Dude,
the class.
I had to do basically the same project. We had to read a children's book and
Yep,
like make an audio bed for it.
yep, yep, yep. Half the kids in the
We did
class,
Ferdinand the Bull.
they literally just submitted like the original clip, but with like them cutting out the actor's voice and just replacing in their voice over it, and then it would cut back to the original audio of the video. A plus. A plus for you. Like you didn't even do it, but because you showed up and you showed Ron that you know, kind of cared and had effort, A plus for you.
Oh yeah,
Like it wasn't.
I went
It
so
just,
hard. I went so hard on that thing, dude. I had my classmate Megan. She and I, we had a great working relationship because she knew how to do nothing technical,
Yeah.
but she worked really hard.
Yeah.
So whenever we had to like write a group paper, she would write the paper, and I would just like do all the technical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whenever we did a project, like she would do the hard work, and then I guess it's hard. Relatively, it would be hard for a normal person to do all the audio and camera stuff that you and I know how to do,
Yeah.
vice versa, you know. So when we did our Ferdinand the Bull reading, I set up a bunch of mics and I had my piano set up next to her.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, Megan, you're gonna read, and then we're just gonna stop, and I'm gonna like find a sound effect to go along with what you're reading,
Right.
and then we're just gonna do it live. And I just had like 2 tracks running, so I live scored her reading.
Yeah.
And we did the whole project in like 15 minutes and submitted it. And our teacher actually played ours back for the class. She's like, "This
Yeah.
is what an A grade looks
Oh,
like."
yeah.
And
You'll appreciate this. We had this other professor. His name was Patrick, and Patrick was like one of the young.
I'm gonna see if I can find that file. I'm gonna look on my hard drive right now because I want to see if I can find Ferdinand. While you go, keep talking.
Do it. Patrick was like the young like teacher that like all of like the older college kids wanted to hang out with. Like I'm pretty sure Patrick now like lives in Philly and he's like a graffiti artist or something. Like he's that kind of like cool, mysterious, like kind of hot, but not really. But like, look at me, I'm an artist. Like, but
Yeah.
so his project, his class was all about design, and like so we had to design a website, a homepage, and I'll never forget. And of course, at the time, you know, he's young artist, hipster, whatever, and it was college, and they were blowing up and new and kind of on the scene. We had to create a new homepage for Raw Burritos because their website at the time sucked, and so that's just what he picked as the class project. And everyone in the class just had horrendous, disgusting, worse than what you put in Figma designs for Raw Burritos. And mine, for the time, back then, 10, 15 years ago, actually looked really good. And as soon as he saw it, he said, He looked at it for 2 seconds, looked at the rest of the class, said, "Everyone get up. Everyone come over here." And literally the class of 30 students surrounded my iMac. And he said, "You, what do you like about this? You, what do you like about this? You, what don't you like about this? What could he done better?" And like everyone was just like, "It's great, it's banging, it's awesome." He said, "This is what a fucking website's supposed to look like." And I should have known then that I was a good designer, but it's fine. Obviously I am, but like it was like one of those situations where it's like, okay, like I get it now. You know what I mean? Like everyone else in the class just had like black and gray squares as their websites because they don't know anything about design because we're developers. But like, it's just
Yeah, you figured out how to do it well back then.
yeah.
That was like for me, I always was like surprised by how little effort people put into like I also would make really weird stuff. Like we had to spoof a news story for my one communications class.
Ooh, that sounds
And
fun.
so I created like a whole story of how like students were stressed about finals one week.
Okay.
And the way I did it was I like created all of this like content around like people like looking like they were in the fetal position while writing papers in the library.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
like I just like I took around actually my iPhone at the time, which
Right.
is very funny, like how horrible it probably looked compared to how it would look now if I did the exact same thing.
Right.
And I filmed people doing stuff, and then I clipped it together, and I had this like, and then I had Megan, my like all time, like we literally went through every communications class together, and she did
Yeah.
all the writing and like on camera stuff, and I did the camera work and all the audio editing.
Yep.
Every class. And I had her do the like reporting standing with a microphone and like talking about like how
Yeah.
stress was getting to students during finals week and how people were handling it differently.
Right.
And like I had my friend shave his beard to just a mustache and say that it was like his like playoff mustache he was using for finals week. I had all these like funny clips. And then everyone else just like literally did what you said. Like they took a real news story and just like edited themselves into it.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
actually I think took more work like to like CGI work it as opposed to just like making something yourself like we did.
That's
And
so funny, dude.
what was fun about it is like it was like I created this entire made up news story. And like our teacher was like, "This is great. How'd you do this?" And I told her, I was like, "I used my iPhone for most of it. I filmed it in landscape mode. And then I had Megan stand in front of a real camera and got all the real footage and interview people." And she was like, "This is great." She's like, "I love that you like didn't just like do what everyone else did."
Right.
Just like, "Thank you."
Right.
Thank you, Stacy. By the way, I should reach out to her because she would love to know that I'm actually like using my degree.
If we use the degrees to the fullest potential, like let's be honest, will there ever be anything in your and I's life from here on out, from 31, 32 till the fucking day we die, will anyone else really give a shit or require us to be like, "Hey, I got a bachelor's at the Art Institute and I've got a bachelor's of communication from Millersville," or whatever the fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's done for us now. Like no one goes to our LinkedIn profiles and be like, "Oh, bachelor's. Oh, okay, good. All right. These two know what they're doing." Like there's no
Yeah, we just know what we're doing, and that's just what it is.
there's the bachelor's degree has been replaced now with
Can
like
you
our
do this thing?
being, our businesses, our portfolio. Like whether I have a bachelor's degree or not, I'm still charging 20 grand for the Just Press Play website. Like that's
Yep.
that's my new ID card. Like when someone comes up and says, "Sir, do you have a permit? Whatever you need a permit to be," I hand them a piece of paper. It says, "I do what I want." Like that's kind of like that's where I'm at now because that's it. Like what are you talking? A bachelor's degree? Who gives a shit? The school doesn't exist. Like they tore it down. It doesn't exist. The building is there, but it does I don't know. I think Biden announced
Yep.
something this morning about new student loan. He's got a new program now, I think. It's the new program. It's called the
When do I get another like? I would love another stimmy check.
Yeah, well,
Can I get
I
another
think
stimmy
me
check?
too. I think you have to be a resident of Hawaii, but
Oh yeah, I guess I have to have my house burned down. I don't really want that. I
dude,
suppose.
did you see his fucking oh god.
Did
He's
not. I want
like
to see it now. That whatever it is.
he's in Hawaii and he's got a fucking flower lay around his neck and he's got a microphone in his hand and he's like, listen, folks, not to compare tragedies here, but you know, Jill and I, we know a thing or two about losing your
Oh, did he talk
home.
about his son dying?
No, he talks about the time where they were literally, I don't know, on vacation and lightning struck his house. And I think maybe like the one rose bush burn up or something. Like he's comparing the entire state of Hawaii melting to a lightning strike that caused like a little burn damage on the side paneling of his house back in 2004.
1974, yeah.
Right. It's just like and then
Did you see the tweet I sent you last night about him thinking $700 is enough to rebuild your life?
yeah,
He's like
because
just
that's
that
the
old.
generation he comes from because he thinks $700 will last 2 months. It's like, dude, and then immediately when
Incredible.
he's done saying how him and Jill lost everything to a natural disaster 300 years ago, we cut to a clip of him falling asleep while the other people are up now speaking about how they've lost their lives, their pets, the children are missing, the cars are melted, everything's on fire. We can literally never come back here. We have no money. We have no savings. Inflation is through the roof, so we can't even afford to live, let alone my house no longer exists. But thank goodness on that.
I'm so glad Joe Biden is giving us $700.
Yes, but thank goodness in 3 weeks' time, that stimulus check might hit the account. It just
I could buy a PlayStation 5 so me and my kids can play it in the hotel
thank
room we have to live in
goodness.
for the next
Right,
8 years.
right. Thank goodness 2 nights in the hotel that we have to live in because something tells me they're probably jacking up rates because they're at capacity because everyone needs a hotel room right now is going to save us 2 free nights.
Why is that definitely happening? That's
Oh, of
probably
course it is.
that's
What are you
that's
talking
how
about?
stuff works,
Any hotel that's not affected in Hawaii has I'm sure their rates have gone through the roof. Now listen, I'm sure there's some that have like, we're here for the Hawaiians, we're giving them discounted rates if they're citizens, whatever. Yeah. But like, something tells me the Hilton Grand in Maui, Hawaii that has not been affected by the fires isn't giving discounted rates in their all suite hotel. Like, no way.
Probably not.
No way. I love it. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to see. It's fascinating to experience. I mean, $700. This is funny. And I'm sure that you and Brittany have talked about this. Like if you guys ever divorce inevitably, whatever. But like, even though you won't, it's fine. Megs and I always joke about it. Megs is dead set. She believes that if we ever go our separate ways, that I will be like on dating apps, fucking bitches, and just being a smut left and right. Now, the only reason she believes that.
Why does she believe that?
The only reason she believes that.
Why does she think that?
She doesn't. She doesn't actually believe I would, but she just likes to think that if Levi was single and ready to mingle, I would just like plow through. Like in her mind, like if it was a perfect world and I actually could do that, I would do that. So like that's where she instantly goes. When, and obviously in reality, I'd probably like, I don't know, maybe talk to one person, but then work the rest of my life. Like, I don't know. Like it's just, I'm not, and it's fun because if literally the plan will be, if I am ever single again, I'll obviously figure out what I need to do as far as schedule wise for my son. But there's a good chance I'll probably sell off everything I have, put that money into like a van camper renovation, and I'll just be parked up with you guys wherever you're at. I might, like, I'll park,
you can
just park, like, and that's where I'll live.
Hang out.
Yeah. Like I don't know, might go bother your parents and just park in their driveway for a week if I want. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll just be doing that. I'll be living in a van, honestly. Like, I can't do it. I can't keep a whole house clean. Like, I don't need a whole house full of fucking dishes. I don't need a couch. I sit at my desk 90% of the time and then I'm in bed. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I would downsize. I would be so minimalistic. And that, honestly, that would happen. And then there's no fucking way. What am I going to do? Get on Tinder and invite these girls over to my camper stealthing van? My stealth camper rape van with a full-size queen mattress and a fucking, gaming PC in it? Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah. What else do you need?
I mean, right. So, it's not going to be like a babe magnet. So I don't think, but hey, honestly, I don't know. Van life is kind of hot now. So inevitably it might be. So who knows? I might be slaying puss in the van, but that's just another life. That's another life that hopefully I will never get to live because I'm happily with Megs. And,
Unless you guys decide to do tiny home life.
Well, listen, I saw another TikTok of a guy who was like bragging about the fact that he had like $100 a month rent because him and his wife both have a $50 a month like camping membership where you get like 2 free weeks a month at whatever campground. So between the two, they stay every month for free, but with their subscription. But like, they live in like an $80,000 RV that he attaches to his $60,000 Ford F-150 with lift kit and huge tires. So like, you can't tell me that those two things alone are like $900 to $1,500 a month in expenses. So I don't know. It'd be a major fucking like life change, but something drastic would have to happen. Like the boy would have to like go off to like, we'd have to like ship him off to school in England or like college or something for us to make that drastic of a move. I don't know. And that's the other thing too. And that's the other fucking thing too. The boy. It's like, I can't take out a home equity loan and go pay cash for a fucking mansion in Punta Cana because, well, we're going to move the boy there. I don't know a word of Spanish, let alone the autistic kid, let alone if they're equipped to handle that. What's the education like there? Now we've got to go a few more times, interview teachers, find a school
to do.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why you need to tell me when I say, "Hey, I'm signing the papers." You say, "Hey, it's a bad idea."
Hayden Pantier just above there. Just why'd you just send me that?
It's her 34th birthday, so just appreciation post.
Oh, cool! Happy birthday, Hayden. Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Save the cheer. Yeah, right. Listen, if you don't, that's really it. You think of Hayden Panettiere and you think of heroes first, huh?
Yeah, I didn't really know her before that.
Interesting. Okay. She's in the Bring It On cheerleader movies.
Oh yeah. I've seen that. It's not my first association.
Oh, and just because Sandy Dunkel brought it up this last weekend, she's in the movie called Racing Stripes, which is a movie about a horse farm that gets a zebra because a zoo closed down in their nearby town, and the zebra's really fast, and they want to enter the zebra in the horse race, and everyone says you can't do that because zebras don't have enough stamina, and so they'll just lose every time. And so then they're like, well, not this zebra, and so they enter the zebra in the race, and then the zebra wins the horse race. And Hayden Panettiere.
I don't think I've seen that one. So.
No, probably not. I'm 99.9% sure it's straight to DVD, 2001, maybe 2002, and if I'm right on that, I'm gonna freak the fuck out. Hold on, Racing Stripes. 2005. Oof. Okay. Oh, and by the way, the animals talk to each other. So the horses and the zebra. So like while Hayden Panettiere is getting like thrown in the mud about trying to put her zebra in a horse race, the horses who are in the race are talking to the zebra like, "Yo, you ain't shit. Go fuck yourself. Like, you're a shit zebra. You're not gonna win." And then the zebra wins. Oh, and by the way, the zebra has to win also with Hayden Panettiere riding it. Like, it's a rider situation, so she's riding
perfect.
The zebra. Here's it's and that's send me
this.
That's where we can end it. Dude, I still honestly because you're doing
That's where we're gonna end it.
You're doing baseball movies with Lance, yeah? I just again watched two very hilarious friends do like a podcast style like full movie review where they just like watch the movie from start to finish of Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. And bro, I lost
We
it.
got to do that.
I just
That's gonna
geeked
happen.
out. I laughed. I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't breathe. Like I literally couldn't breathe. That's how hard I was laughing. And so I just need you and I to just be on a couch, uninterrupted, drinking, smoking, whatever, and just have microphones in our hands watching Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. And then I'm going to cut it up and make it a podcast episode, and it's going to be genius.
Dude, love it. I'm so into that.
Oh, and by the way,
So into that.
in Racing Stripes, the friends of the zebra cheering on the zebra, we have a mini horse, a rooster, a goat, and for some reason a pelican.
What?
I don't know. There's a pelican.
Also, yeah, I've never seen this movie.
There's a pelican and Hayden Panettiere. And there's another guy. Who's her father? Oh, Frankie Muniz is in it.
Oh my God.
Dustin Hoffman's in it. Steve Harvey. Hold on. Listen to this all-star cast. This needs to be your next movie night movie. Frankie Muniz, Hayden Panettiere, Dustin Hoffman from Meet the Fockers, Steve Harvey, Snoop Dogg is the voice of a horse or something, David Spade, Joe Pantolino, Mandy Moore, Michael Clark Duncan, Whoopi Goldberg, Jeff Foxworthy, plus many more.
Yeah, stacked cast, honestly, for a weird movie.
Stacked cast for a crazy rated PG Racing Stripes. A zebra wants to win. Oh, there's two flies too. The two flies are really funny. Oh, Snoop Dogg's a fly. Oh, that's funny. Snoop Dogg. That's right. Now I get it. Snoop Dogg and Steve Harvey are the two flies that buzz around, or maybe it's Snoop Dogg and David Spade. Oh, I think it might be David Spade and Snoop Dogg. It's either Snoop Dogg's definitely a fly, I think. Steve Harvey might be a fly too. I don't know. One of them's a fly. So that's fun. So you should watch Racing Stripes. I don't even know where you can watch it. Racing Stripes. You probably can't. That's how good of a movie it is. You can't stream it.
Dude, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, the only way you can watch it is if you buy it. So you can buy it on like Amazon or Redbox or Google Play or YouTube or something for like $3. I think it's worth $3. I think you should watch it. And then we just need to plan a time to watch Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off together.
Yes, I look forward to that.
Dude, I mean,
I'm definitely down.
Fuck it. Even if I need to get drunk before fucking Stage Fright anyway, so if we have an hour
Yeah, we just watch it beforehand.
Why don't we just do that to kick off Stage Fright? We're just in the conference room watching Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. Honestly?
Taking shots.
Honestly, I think it's appropriate.
I'll do it.
Okay, fuck it.
I'll do it.
All right, I'm bringing it. I'm bringing a copy. I'm gonna have it
ready.
I'm gonna have it downloaded on my laptop, ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to episode 105 of the What Are We Doing podcast. My name's Levi McCurdy, and I can't thank you enough for listening again this week. Slow news week, not much celebrity talk, just a bunch of personal life updates here. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of episode. We'll probably be deep diving into the latest Scooter Braun being dropped by every major celebrity, Taylor Swift's Era Tour making $1 billion, like the biggest thing to ever happen to music ever, next week. Check out wadpod.com/YouTube for everything and anything you need to see on this channel. We've got clips going up every day. Another clip just went up this morning. Shout out to our editor, Jeff. We couldn't do it without you. If you see those clips on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, MySpace, whatever social media platform you follow us on, be sure to give them a like, give them a share, give them a follow. It's because of you guys that we grow. My efforts only go so far. So check it out, wadpod.com/YouTube, wadpod.com/links, WAWDPOD.com/LINKS for everything you need to listen, watch, subscribe, follow, and like this podcast and everything that we're about. Thank you guys for listening. My name's Levi McCurdy. I'll catch you next week for episode 106. Peace out, everybody. This is the What Are We Doing podcast.